What's up, everybody, and welcome to Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Kids, today we're diving into another episode of Doug,
who channels his inner superhero in time of need.
Let's get into it. Detentions, Clotzillas,
And the power of the quail.
Let's break down the episode of Doug to the Rescue.
Once there was a time when fighting crime was a cinch. Superheroes with super strength could clobber an evil wrongdoer on the spot. But desperate times call for a new kind of hero. A hero with patience and intelligence.
King me! Hi.
A hero with grace and speed.
I'm here. Whoop, I'm there.
A hero with the most incredible superpowers in the entire universe. Quail Man. Yes, Quail Man. Strange visitor from the planet Pod. He flies, he thinks, he wears his underwear over his pants. Quail Man. Half man, half quail. All hero.
The episode opens with Doug in his room thinking about times when someone needs to step up as a hero. At school, Ms. Wingo assigns a big book report, and Roger keeps pestering Patty for help. Patty repeatedly tells him to stop, and Doug quietly fumes. When the arguing disrupts class, Ms. Wingo scolds Patty, Roger, Doug, and Skeeter, and Roger only bothers Patty more. Doug imagines Patty is kidnapped by Clotzilla. Quailman arrives, gets flicked away, then returns using patience, speed, and the quail eye to stun the monster and rescue Patty. Later, Roger begs Patty again, and both end up in detention, along with Doug and Skeeter. There, Roger keeps annoying Patty until Doug steps in and accidentally bumps Roger's nose, triggering a promised showdown. Outside, Roger prepares to pound Doug. Doug imagines himself as Quailman, dodging around and using the quail eye. His friends think Doug is outsmarting Roger. Just as Doug imagines defeating Clotzilla again, Mr. Bone breaks things up. Roger leaves to finally start his book report. Patty and Skeeter praise Doug for using brains over brawn. Back home, Doug writes that brains beat brawn any day. He shows off quail powers with pork chop until both get dizzy and collapse laughing.
Patience, intelligence, speed. The powers of the quail.
This episode is iconic! Huge imagination scenes, important lessons for an 11-year-old, and the debut of arguably the most memorable character in the entire series, Quail Man. Quail Man is a major staple in the Doug Show, his superhero alter ego. Quail Man is an obvious nod to another iconic superhero, Superman, although with some clearly distinguishing differences than the Boy Scout. This episode is filled with many big imagination scenes depicting what Doug wished he could do, often displaying Roger as the villain, which he'll be portrayed as in many other episodes in the future. This one, however, portraying him as an homage to Godzilla with his Godzilla character. What always fascinated me about the show Doug was that it tended to have a moral lesson theme behind each episode. For this particular one, there were two lessons. One being that bullying was and is wrong, and the other being to be brave enough to speak up when you see something that is wrong, which is incredibly challenging as an adult, let alone being a kid, because it requires just a lot of courage. I give this episode 3 powers of the quail: patience, intelligence, and speed. It's a fantastic look into the microcosm of life that we all face as we grow older, and learning when to speak up during times of conflict is a very important lesson in life. Now kids, growing up, I definitely grew attached to superheroes as your papa had a plethora of comics for me to dig into. And much like your papa, I gravitated towards the oh-so-popular superhero, Spider-Man. Spidey had a wonderful impact on my childhood and even adulthood, with stories of a young, nerdy kid overcoming the odds of majority of the situations he finds himself in, all while trying to be a good person. At times, it's very weird to think that superheroes weren't as popular as they clearly are now, but back then, it certainly did feel like you were part of a smaller club of people who liked that sort of thing. Now, superheroes are everywhere, becoming a major part of pop culture with a wide variety of movies and TV shows. I was even pleasantly surprised when you kids got into the show Spidey and His Amazing Friends, but perhaps we'll talk about that show another day. For now, I'm just glad you kids have enjoyed getting into superheroes, for they depict what we as human beings strive to be in life, the best versions of ourselves. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Tune in next time. Bye!